Objective geology, multiple choice questions with answers. This is the solved question paper of Andhra Pradesh state level eligibility test 2024. And I hope this solved question paper is useful for various competitive exams like CSIR, NET, GATE, GSI and other exams. Welcome to set 3. Coming to the first question. Plasticity of a body is defined as a body regains its original configuration immediately and completely after the removal of a deforming force, and B, a body experiences both longitudinal and lateral strains to the axial load, and C, a body unable to return to its original size and shape even on removal of the load, and D, a capacity of a material to deform permanently. The correct option goes as C. Plasticity is a body's ability to undergo permanent deformation without breaking when subject to an external force, meaning it will not regain its original shape and size after the force is removed. So this property is demonstrated by materials like clay when these can be shaped permanently, and it is a key factor in manufacturing processes such as forging and rolling. So plasticity of a body is defined as a body unable to return to its original size and shape even on the removal of the load. C is the correct option. Next question. What is magnetic variance, which is often used in? The choices are A. It is a difference between geographic north and magnetic north. B. It is determined by the direction a compass brings. And C. It is a perceived moment of the Earth's paleomagnetic poles relative to a continent. And D. It is for finding paleomagnetic poles for different continents and at different epochs. So the correct option is A. It is a difference between geographic north and magnetic north. Magnetic variation, this is also called as a magnetic declination, is the angle between the magnetic north and the true north. Declination, it is positive when the angle is east of the true north and negative when it is west. So the magnetic variance is often used as the difference between the geographic north and the magnetic north. Next question. The term continental volcanic arc refers to A. Formation of Earth's mountain belts. B. Volcanism when the oceanic lithosphere is subducted beneath the continental block. And C. Volcanism takes place on ocean floor when the oceanic lithosphere is subducted beneath the oceanic plate. And D. Tectonic belts of high seismic activity zones. The term continental volcanic arc, it refers to the volcanism when the oceanic lithosphere is subducted beneath the continental block. A continental volcanic arc, it is a mountain range with volcanics. It is formed at the edge of a continent when an oceanic plate subducts beneath the continental crust. This process is known as a subduction, and it creates an arc-shaped region of volcanic activity and is characterized by a thick crust, often resulting in silicic rocks and explosive volcanism. An example of continental volcanic arc is the Andes Mountains in South America. Next question. The basement rocks collected from a long linear volcanic feature and adjacent oceanic lithosphere, it show a linear increase of age, but for a same geological period, the extent of volcanic features is much more than the oceanic lithosphere. Both mean inclination and paleo latitudes of volcanic basement rocks are approximately constant. What could be the possible reasons for these different extents? A. Volcanic feature just recorded the relative plate motion. B. Volcanic feature recorded the mantle plume migration in addition to relative plate motion. And C. Volcanic feature recorded absolute motion and ridge migration. And D. Volcanic feature recorded both relative and absolute plate motions. The correct option goes as D. Volcanic feature recorded both relative and absolute plate motions. Next question. During the seismic reflection surveys, uphole shooting work is carried out A. For gathering seismic signals from common depth point from an interface, and B. For calculation of travel times from different geological boundaries, and C. For accurate design and planning of seismic reflection and refraction surveys, and D. For determining the velocities of weathered and hard sediment strata. So the correct option goes as D for determining the velocities of weathered and hard sediment strata. During seismic reflection surveys, uphole shooting work is carried out to determine the thickness and velocity of the near surface weathered or low velocity layer. So this information is essential for calculating the static corrections which adjust for variations in the near surface to improve the accuracy and signal to noise ratio of the reflection data. So during the seismic reflection surveys, uphole shooting work is carried out for determining the velocities of weathered and hard sediment strata. Next question. In seismic refraction studies, the depth to the geological horizon can be calculated from A. Common depth point, that is CDP, B. Interface time, C. Two-way travel time, TWT, and D. A specific configuration of shot and receiver spread. So the correct option goes as interface time. The depth to a geological horizon in a seismic refraction study can be calculated from the interface time. So this is depending upon the critical distance and velocities, but it's not a direct calculation from the time alone. We also need the subsurface geological layer velocities and the critical distance. So the critical distance and the velocities of the overlying and underlying layers are used in a specific formula to find the depth to the interface. So in seismic refraction studies, the depth to the geological horizon can be calculated from interface time. So B is the correct option. Next question. Which of the following geophysical methods is best suited, one, to estimate the resistivity variance in upper mantle? A. Deep electrical resistivity, B. Ground penetrating radar, GPR, and C. Controlled source electromagnetics, and D. Magnetotellurics. So the correct option goes as magnetotellurics. Magnetotellurics is a highly suited geophysical method for estimating resistivity variance in the upper mantle because it utilizes the naturally occurring electromagnetic fields to probe deep earth structures, providing insights into variations in electrical resistivity which are sensitive to temperature, composition, and fluid content at these depths. By extending the periods of the recorded variations, magnetotellurics can achieve investigation depths reaching tens to hundreds of kilometers into the mantle, making it effective for imaging the lithosphere and upper mantle. Next question. What are the factors controlling the spontaneous polarization log or SP log? A. Salinity, resistivity, bed thickness and influence of clay. B. Conductive bore fluid, permeable bed and electrical continuity between SP electrode and lithological formation. C. Formation connate water, conductive drilling fluid and certain iron selective rocks. And D. Physical characteristics of mud filtrate and formation water. The factors controlling the spontaneous polarization log are salinity, resistivity, bed thickness, and influence of clay. So the spontaneous polarization logs deflections are controlled by salinity contrast between the borehole fluid and formation water, the permeability of the formation, and the presence and nature of clay layers which act as semi-permeable membranes. Resistivity influences the log via the resistivity of the formation and the mud, while the bed thicknesses, it affects the spontaneous polarization curves shape with thicker permeable beds showing more constant deflections. Next question. The term effective porosity is often referred in geophysical well logging for measure of A. The amount of fluid a rock will hold within its internal space or voids. B. Amount of void space that is interconnected and thus able to transmit fluids. And C. Ratio of voids to total volume of rock. And D. Pore sizes, their distribution and their degree of connectivity. The term effective porosity, it is often referred in geophysical well logging for measurement of the amount of void spaces which are interconnected and thus able to transmit the fluids. So B is the correct option. Next question. The drilling fluids are mainly used in well logging operations for the purpose of A. Providing hydrostatic pressure to prevent formation fluids from entering into the borewell, and B. Formation of mud cakes along the walls of drill hole, and C. Making wireline logs or well logs by downhole logging tools, and D. Avoiding the collapses of flushed zones into the borewell. The correct option goes as A, that is providing hydrostatic pressure to prevent formation fluids from entering into the borewell. Drilling fluids in well logging operations, they provide essential formation data by acting as a medium to carry logging tools, transmit hydraulic energy to downhole sensors, and facilitate geochemical monitoring of the formation fluids encountered during drilling. So the drilling fluids are mainly used in well logging operations for the purpose of providing hydrostatic pressure, which will further prevent the formation fluids from entering into the borewell. A is the correct option. Next question. Which of the following factors is unpredictable in a magnitude of Earth's gravitational acceleration? A. Topography of the surrounding terrain. B. Earth tides. And C. Density variations in the subsurface of the Earth. And D. Latitude and elevation. So the correct option goes as D, latitude and elevation. The unpredictable factors affecting Earth's gravitational acceleration at the surface are variations in altitude and latitude due to the Earth's imperfect ellipsoidal shape and the effect of its rotation. While the gravitational constant G and Earth's mass m and the distance from the Earth's center r are the fundamental factors in the formula G is equal to gm by r square. These factors change with the location, making G as non-uniform across the Earth's surface. So the factor which is unpredictable in magnitude of Earth's gravitational acceleration are latitude and elevation. D is the correct option. Next question. The term Benioff zone is introduced for explaining the A. Presence of deep earthquakes beneath the continent-continent convergent boundary. B. Presence of deep earthquakes beneath the ocean-ocean and ocean-continent convergent boundary. C. Presence of shallow earthquakes beneath the divergent plane boundary. And D. Presence of deep and shallow earthquakes beneath the diffuse lithospheric plate boundary. The correct option goes as B. The presence of deep earthquakes beneath the ocean and ocean-continent convergent boundary. The term Benioff zone is introduced for explaining the seismically active inclined plane of earthquake foci that corresponds to a subducting lithospheric slab in a subduction zone. This zone, named after seismologists Hugo Benioff and Kiyo Wadati, it allows the scientists to map the three-dimensional structure of the downgoing plate, which causes earthquakes as it descends into the mantle due to friction and eventual melting. Next question. The ITCZ, that is Intertropical Convergence Zone, is in its northernmost over the Indian subcontinent during the months A. June to September, B. October to December, C. January to February, D. March to May. The correct option is June to September. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, is in its northernmost position over the Indian subcontinent during the months of June to September, which is the period of the Indian summer monsoon. So this northward shift, it is caused by the intense heating of the landmass, which creates a low pressure area that draws moist winds from the surrounding oceans, and they bring heavy rainfall to India. So the ITCZ is in its northernmost over the Indian subcontinent during June to September months. So A is the correct option. Next question. As the temperature drops in a cold cloud, more and more ice is formed until all the cloud particles become the ice crystals at temperatures colder than A. minus 59 degrees centigrade, B. minus 39 degrees centigrade, C. minus 19 degrees centigrade, and D. 0 degrees centigrade. The correct option is minus 39 degrees centigrade. In very cold clouds, the temperatures below approximately minus 39 degrees, all cloud droplets, they can become ice crystals. Though the exact temperature can vary depending upon factors like the presence of ice nuclei, while some droplets, they can freeze at higher temperatures with the ice nuclei. Temperatures colder than minus 35 degrees centigrade are often required for homogeneous nucleation. So this is required for spontaneous freezing to occur. And the temperatures colder than minus 39 degrees centigrade, they represent a transition where the process becomes very likely to occur throughout the cloud. So the correct option is B, minus 39 degrees centigrade. Next question. During the December solstice, A. Days are short and nights are long in the southern hemisphere. B. Days and nights are of equal duration. C. The noon rays of the sun are vertical over 23.5 degrees north. And D. The noon rays of the sun are vertical over 23.5 degrees south. So the correct option is D. During the December solstice, the noon sun's rays are vertical over the Tropic of Capricorn, which is located at 23.5 degrees south of the equator, not at 23.5 degrees south. So this is because the Earth's south pole is tilted most directly towards the sun at this time. and it makes the longest day and the shortest night in the southern hemisphere. So during the December solstice, the noon rays of the sun are vertical over 23.5 degrees south. D is the correct option. Next question. Greenhouse effect is due to the selective absorption of A. Solar radiation by oxygen, B. Solar radiation by carbon dioxide, C. Terrestrial radiation by ozone, and D. Terrestrial radiation by atmospheric gases. Greenhouse effect is due to the selective absorption of terrestrial radiation by atmospheric gases. The greenhouse effect is caused by the selective radiation or selective absorption of outgoing terrestrial radiation, that is infrared energy, by atmospheric gases, primarily water vapor and carbon dioxide. These greenhouse gases absorb this infrared radiation and then they re-emit it in all directions, trapping the heat and warming the Earth's surface and lower atmosphere. So the greenhouse effect is due to the selective absorption of terrestrial radiation by atmospheric gases. D is the correct option. Next question. Ekman layer represents a balance among these forces. A. Coriolis force, pressure gradient force and eddy viscosity. B. Coriolis force, gravity, eddy viscosity. C. Pressure gradient force, gravity, eddy viscosity. And D. Pressure gradient, Coriolis force and gravity. Ekman layer represents a balance among Coriolis force, pressure gradient force and eddy viscosity. So this three-way balance, it occurs within a fluid's boundary layer and result in a spiraling wind and water current profile. This is known as the Ekman spiral. Next question. Based on the below statements, choose the correct option from the following. There are two statements are given. Number one, the duration of southwest monsoon rainfall, it decreases from south to north over India. And second statement, the amount of the rainfall during the same season in the northern plains of India increases from west to east. The choices are A. Both 1 and 2 are correct, and B. 1 is correct and 2 is incorrect. C. Both 1 and 2 are incorrect, and D. 1 is incorrect and 2 is correct. So the correct option goes as B. 1 is correct and 2 is incorrect. Coming to the first statement, the duration of southwest monsoon rainfall, it decreases from south to north over India. This statement is correct because the duration of the southwest monsoon rainfall, it decreases from south to north over India, and this occurs because the monsoon arrives earlier and stays longer in the southern parts of the country, while the duration becomes progressively shorter as the winds advance northwards before withdrawing. So the amount of the rainfall during the same season in the northern plains of India increases from east to west. So this is the second statement. This statement is incorrect because during the monsoon season, the amount of the rainfall in the northern plains of India, it decreases from west to east. This why it happens because the Bay of Bengal monsoon branch, it loses its moisture as it travels westwards and moves across the plains, leading to progressively less rainfall. Hence, B is the correct option, like first is the correct statement and 2 is incorrect. Next question. During the break monsoon conditions, rainfall, A. It decreases over North India and increases over Peninsular India. And B. Decreases everywhere over the Indian subcontinent. C. Increases over northeastern states, Sikkim, North Bihar. And D. Increases over Gujarat, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. During break monsoon conditions, rainfall increases over northeastern states, Sikkim, North Bihar. So the Northeast India, including the northeastern states like Sikkim and parts of the southern peninsula, they often experience increased rainfall activity. So the break in the monsoon, it occurs because the monsoon trough, it shifts closer to the foothills of the Himalayas, or it's sometimes not visible at all, causing the rain-bearing storms to weaken and fail to reach the northern plains. So during break monsoon conditions, the rainfall increases over northeastern states, Sikkim and North Bihar. So C is the correct option. Next question. Rotation of the planet Earth generates the centrifugal force with a variable quantity. The value A. Increases along latitudes from western hemisphere to eastern, and B. Decreases along latitudes from western hemisphere to eastern. C. Increases along longitudes from equator to poles, and D. Decreases along longitudes from equator to poles. So the correct option is D. The centrifugal force generated by the Earth's rotation, it decreases as we move from the equator towards the poles, with the value which is maximum at the equator and zero at the poles. So this is because the centrifugal force is proportional to the radius of the circular path of the rotation, which is largest at the equator and diminishes to zero at the axis of rotation. Hence, the value decreases along the longitudes from equator to poles. Next is the tips to prepare for the competitive exam. In continuation for the last video, I'm making these tips for the competitive exam. So in addition to that, I'm giving. So number one, create a study plan. So what type of exam and how many reading hours are needed exactly for that exam. So for that, you have to prepare a timetable for each exam. So for that, create a study plan. It is very important. And second point, it is analyze the syllabus. How you are going to analyze the syllabus, it makes a very important. That means what are the easy chapters are there in that syllabus and what are the difficult things are there. You can make a red mark and then you can write it down all the exam difficult things so that you can plan accordingly. So this is analyzing the syllabus and is there the syllabus is objective or descriptive pattern, in what way you have to write the exam. So like that, analyzing the syllabus is very important. And the next step is you have to arrange all the study material which you have. So nowadays there are so many materials are in the available internet. People like you may confuse like what material I have to read. For that, you have to study the reference books. So in the next video, I'll make what are the good important reference books. So for this, please rely on the standard books. Referred material is there, and then textbooks. Minimum 8 to 10 textbooks are needed, and like apart from that, you had to read the NCERT syllabus and then all those other stuff is there. So first thing is arrange the study material. Don't go for the simple and vague materials. So go for the preferred reference standard textbooks. So this is very important. Next is understand the exam pattern. So what type of exam it is there and what is its pattern? Suppose if it is a descriptive or it is objective, and how much authenticity you are preparing for descriptive exam. So whether you are good at writing or that particular points, like if it is descriptive, 2 marks question or 5 marks question or 10 marks questions, like that, what is the pattern is there, and you have to understand that one and you have to make the notes accordingly. Fifth point, make your own notes. So why this plays a very crucial, because now you say that means you have lots of loads of syllabus or material are there, but your own notes make an important criteria in passing through the exam. Because if you write the notes, this we will have more memory and you can memorize more, and then you can practice this, and you will have 100% confidence that yes, I have understand this one and I have make a notes, and then you can memorize very well. In that for that case, you need a picture or image format of any topic. Suppose if you take any topic like in glaciers, or then suppose if you think meandering of rivers, or then drainage patterns, or anything in geomorphology, or texture patterns in petrology, or joints or particular strike slip faults, or in structural geology, anything. For that, what is the important thing is you have to make a picture of that. You have to take a pencil and then you have to write make the diagram of that, so that you can understand more, and then you can this picture format, it will give, or image format, this will have a long-term memory. And another important is table format. Suppose if any structure of silicates or anything it is there, you have to make in the table format, so that it's easy to note it, and then you can copy, and then you can make like some number of things are there, like how you can make it in a what you can say that that format, you repeatedly you have to see that, and then you can practice that one. So picture or image and table format, it plays an important thing for the descriptive exam. So make your own notes according to that, and then seek guidance. So this is very important, because nowadays you are preparing so much, of course that's good, but how much guidance you are needed. Suppose for the any exam, you can talk to your teacher or mentor, or you can with chit chat with the seniors or friends, and you can share your material, and you can take the guidance from them. And because every point makes an important thing. And another important step is stay motivated. So why? Because you have to stay motivated. Someday or some days you do good, and some other days you feel very bad, or something, some functions or something, some disturbances will be there. Of course, even though you have to be stay motivated, and every time whenever you are sharing the material with your students or friends or anybody is there, you had to be motivated that yes, I am going to secure this exam within that stipulated time period. This is very important. Always you have to be motivated, and then you can make a phone call to your friends or teachers, or that yes, I'm good at this point, I'm not this, like this. You can always be stay motivated and don't desperate at any cost. And another important thing is eliminate distractions. Nowadays digital mania is there, means every time you have to see your mobile, and everything is available in the mobile. That means either it is positive way or negative way. So number of distractions or notifications, or then social media, everything will be there. So you had to eliminate all these distractions. And the other important pointing is visualization. What is this visualization? Everybody knows that visualization means if you see and repeatedly any particular pattern or a type, and then you can become what you thoughts becomes things. So that's why your thoughts always should be motivated, and your thoughts should always be inspired, and your thought should have a good thought that yes, I'm going to crack this exam within this time period. Hook or crook, I am going to solve that, or I'm going to secure that position, or anything you can plan, whatever be be. And give a specified time period for that, daily sit in a calm place, and then visualize already that you have got the exam, or you have appointed as an officer or geologist or something or so on. And this process, it makes the things very um, promptly. So this visualization. So, and another important thing is sleep well. Most of the people, they read so much, and then they will be frustrated. And yes, I have read this much, but the thing is, you have to sleep well. Minimum sleep hours are very, very, very important, so that your brain will be active. And for that, minimum 6 to 8 hours sleep is very essential. So these are the tips overall. Just I will repeat. First is to create a study plan, and second is you have to analyze the syllabus, and third is arrange all the study material, keep in files at one place for any one particular exam, and then understand the exam pattern, what type of syllabus is there, how many marks, and then what type of whether it is a what you can say that objective or descriptive. And make your own notes. That means take a book always with you, carry a notes, and a book with always carry a notes. And that notes, it should contain any picture or image or any table format which are difficult to remember, so that if you write and practice every day, that will become very easy. And another important thing is seek guidance from your teacher or professors or mentors or seniors or friends, whoever may be. Maybe website, or give it will give some complete guidance. And another important thing is stay motivated, always be motivated, stay inspired, and to discuss and have good groups, join in good groups, so that you will be having you will be connected. And eliminate distractions. What is eliminate distractions? Because the digital distractions will be there, and then mental distractions will also be there. Something, sometimes you may read more, and then you feel that, oh, I may forget, or something like that. You will have that desperate feeling. So you eliminate all these distractions and have a clear goal, and then have visualization. Everyday practice thrice or number of times as convenient to you. So this visualization is a very, 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 very crucial step, which is for any competitive exam preparation. And last thing is sleep well. So don't stress too much, have a minimum stress. And then for that, you have to make your brain sharp, so that you can remember more, so that you have to sleep well. So these are the 10 tips what I have given, and see you in the next video. These are some of the suggested books. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video. Hope you can explore geosciences and subscribe.